nutrition group too. Hey, welcome back to Grit Gym, a special edition of the Rachel Adams Show from Grit Gym, not from the office, because the office is undergoing some, let's call it cosmetic surgery. Anyway, today we have the nutrition group out here. We have the nutrition class out here tonight. That we want to make sure you go to gritgym.com/nutrition. There's like there's just a few slots left that people haven't RSVP'd for. So you haven't RSVP'd for that, go ahead and do that right now. And if you guys can do me a favor, go on and share it with anybody. If you're coming out to the nutrition class tonight, please share it with a friend of yours and try to get them to come along with you, because we want to max out that those 40 people. But anyway, today, what are we talking about today?
Motivation.
Motivation. Is it what? Well, we have two different views on this.
Not two completely different views. We just have two versions of it.
Two versions of it. Okay, so what's your version? We were talking about this all morning, but what's your version of it? Or before the show?
Well, I think that people tend to rely on motivation much more than they should, especially in the fitness and dieting kind of health and wellness kind of area.
You don't think it's in all of them, like health, wealth, relationships, time, anything?
Well, yeah, but I think especially in that, because the culture's kind of gone towards that, like the motivational Mondays and the affirmations on your feed every day.
And New Year's resolutions and...
Yeah, and like the resolutions. So I think that it's kind of shoved down your throat. Like, I need to feel motivated before I'm able to do this. So people start relying on it, and then they kind of let that be their downfall as well. Yeah,
I can see that. I can definitely see that point of view. I just would go a step further with that. I just don't think it's a real thing. Like, I don't think motivation is even real. I think it's something that we make up. And a lot of times we make up this story in our mind that we're not motivated, so that's why we're not successful at whatever we're trying to do. I think people use it as a way as like a tool to keep them from the goal of achieving the goal that they wanted to set in the first place. Oh, I just wasn't motivated.
Well, then you have to look at the definition.
Okay, what's the definition?
And I think if you were just to have a conversation about motivation, it might come down to somebody's personal idea of what it means. So when we looked at it, it said the willingness to do an action.
So that was what it is, the willingness to do an action?
So literally, a willingness to do an action.
Okay.
So if you're talking about motivation, how can you say that there's no such thing as motivation if there's no willingness to...
I think you're getting into words and containers, right? So if we use a word for what Webster's dictionary says it is, and then we use it in a different way to mean something else, we'd have to get clear on that. Like in every scenario that I've been in, are they talking about the people that say they aren't motivated and that's why they're not successful, which is bullshit. Whether you're using the definition or like a different definition, like are they using motivation? Like, what does motivation mean to them? Like, doesn't mean to Webster or to Google or to, whatever.
Okay.
What does it mean to them? So, I think that might come into it just a little bit.
The word motivation has kind of become an expression. So, there's certain things
I feel motivated?
Well, there's a lot of different expressions that we use in our day-to-day life. We don't even think about what they mean, but we just say them because they fit into that feeling of that expression. So motivation, when you're saying, I don't feel motivated, well, to get out of bed and go to workout, not many people feel motivated to get out of bed. A lot of people would just want to lay there and enjoy their morning. Nobody really has a willingness to run around the block
I don't know
4 or 5 times. I don't.
Even if you are using the exact definition of the word, I just think people are better off to just remove the word from the vocabulary. Just don't even use the word motivation. You're just going to do it.
Yeah.
I said that I was going to go work out at 8:30, so I'm going to go work out at 8:30. I said that at 6 p.m., I'm going to go work out, so I just go and I do that thing. If you don't make that commitment, then you have a bunch of other things that you're going to be ending up doing instead of that thing.
I think that's weird because that's kind of something I wrote. Like
what did you write?
If you commit, then you don't need motivation.
You can bring your notes over here.
I'm allowed to? I don't know.
This like allowed to. I think that's an interesting thing. That's like you guys were talking about the word empowerment this morning. I just think the word empowerment's a garbage word. Like I don't have to give anybody power. They already had it.
You can give yourself empowerment.
You can give yourself empowerment. That's it. You can give yourself. You can harness your own power. I don't think you have the power to give anybody else any power. They already had the power. Maybe you can point to it and say you have this power, and then they can see that power in themselves, and then they can harness it. But I am not the mint. I am not the keeper of the power. I can't empower other people. I think that's kind of a ridiculous thing. So like, so are you allowed to do this?
Well,
yes, you are.
It has a long way to say it.
And I never needed to give you permission.
So in the workout thing as well, like for you, I think people sometimes.
You mean for me as a coach?
Yeah. That if they hire somebody to motivate them, then that's their job. Like they
you mean
hire
like the coach is supposed to motivate them?
Get their ass in the gym to like eat well, but really you're giving them the tools to do it themselves.
Yes.
And it's not going to work. It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
You're only here with them as long as they're.
There's individual responsibility. Like I have a responsibility to do everything in my power, every single possible thing that I can to get that person from point A to point B. You know, like in a safe, efficient, and injury-free manner. Like I have to do everything I possibly can. But for us to get there, they also have to take responsibility to do everything that they possibly can to assist me in getting there too. Like I have to assist them. They have to assist. Yeah, they have to be coachable. They have to stick to their commitments. They have to do it. Like that's the quote that I wrote down before. And if you give the devil a ride, eventually the devil is going to want to drive. And it's about like if you're not careful, it'll become a habit. If you don't show up to
continuing to tempt yourself and getting into temptation.
If you don't show up to the gym and you're like, hey, I can't make it tonight. Well, like be careful here because this could become a habit if you keep on doing that. That's just giving the devil a ride. Yep, I'm gonna tempt the fates of failure. Well, you're gonna find failure.
Well, everybody's had that situation where they've probably, I don't know, you create a bad habit.
Yeah. That's what I say. I think you're always committed. You're either committed to what you want to be or what you don't want to be. Did I hijack what you were going to say?
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
So, I mean, and everybody's had, like, maybe when you're in high school, you kind of get into a habit of, I don't know, not doing certain things that get you to be a good student. So you stay up late or you're on your phone all the time and you get into the habit of having a poor sleep schedule.
Yeah.
So those continued over time bad habits lead to, oh, well, I want to be a good student, but if you're not getting sleep and eating well and doing your homework, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So a build-up, I don't know, when I am managing the girls that I manage, I'm like, start that bad habit once, and they'll think that that's okay for the rest of the time.
Yep. Yeah, it's the same thing with
it's
coaching.
It's a built-up thing.
If we don't like people think that we're like super hardcore on technique, and they're like, oh my god, they're relentless on making sure that and it's like, well, yeah, that's our job, first of all. But for two, if I over coach up front, if I really get you to do it just absolutely as best as you possibly can up front, then it saves me like mountains of time later on dealing with on the bad habit. Or if we ask people right away, like as soon as they put a weight on a bench or on a box, it's like, please set them back on the rack. Please set them back on the rack. Please set them back on the rack. We create that good habit instead of a bunch of weights just laying around being dangerous.
Yeah. And then motivation is motivated as, like, however you want to say it, as motivated as you could possibly be. Say you walk in here and you're the most motivated person ever to start your day or to like do good on like a presentation.
Is that the motivation walk?
Stop. It's only so consistent. You can't rely on that. It's never going to be like, not every like say you're at your job and you walk in and a week straight you're super motivated. Yeah. By 2 weeks later, you can't rely on that motivation any longer. The motivation is not going to be there forever.
Right.
You kind of have to build new goals and new challenges so that you keep it interesting.
Yeah.
And motivation might come from reaching those goals and then getting to the new one, but it's never going to stay the same.
Yeah.
You're never going to be at that high energy level, and it's almost like setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, because that's like so the two teams that explored the North Pole, they both went at the same time. And they both went at the same time, and I've told you this story before, I think. But
I
all right,
know.
so two guys went, and they put a team, they both put individual teams together. They both went to explore the North Pole, right? One team said, we are going to march every single day, no matter what, and we're only going to go X number of miles. I think it was like we're going to go 2 miles or more every day. No matter what, we're going to go at least 2 miles. And the other group said, we're going to hunker down in bad weather, and we're just going to stay there until it's clear, and then we're going to march as far as we possibly can when we're all rested and ready to go. And the interesting thing was the group that said we're going to do at least 2 miles or at least whatever it was every day. That group, they were the first to get there, and they were the first to get home. And the second group, when they did get to the North Pole, but then they came back, the second group, every single one of the members died, every one of them. And in the first group that said that we're going to go every single day, no matter what, whether we're motivated or not, that group was the first group to get there, and every one of the members of his group lived. Kind of an interesting thing.
Well, yeah, and they made their goal clear, and everybody followed it and didn't let anybody back down on that goal, because,
yeah.
I mean, it was life or death, obviously, in the other team's situation.
Yeah, so if you rely on, I think that's what happens. Like, you rely on, like, if motivation is a real thing, and you rely on it, and you only work as hard as you possibly can when you're motivated, and you get a ton done when you're motivated, but you don't do anything while you're not motivated, then you might go 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even years, weeks, and I was going to say it originally, and like maybe you go years before you actually feel motivated, and then you get a ton done. It was like you would have been better off doing your work drunk every day than at least you would have got moved the what is it?
The finish line?
Moved it. You would have gotten a little closer to the finish line every time. But with the coaching thing, I heard this the other day. That somebody used this example. They said this was a coaching group, and I was listening to their podcast, and they said there's daycare. They use the analogy of daycares, colleges, and coaching. And they said in a daycare, you go and you get weighted on hand and foot. They'll do everything, including wipe your butt if you poop your pants, right? And then you go to college, and they'll do basically they treat you. They'll give you an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. You know, they just give you a grade. Whereas in coaching, if you were, and this guy was a college wrestler, and he was spot on. He said that you'd show up to practice, and your coach would push you as hard as they could, and they'd do everything they possibly could to make sure that you're successful. But if you didn't put in the time, you didn't put in the work, and you didn't really focus on what was going on, when you stepped out onto that mat, you were going, and you didn't do everything you possibly could, you were going to get your ass handed to you right in front of everybody. And by ass handed to you, I mean beat really bad in the match.
Wrestling.
In wrestling, and I'll tell you, like wrestling, it sucks to lose so much in wrestling. It sucks so bad. It's a huge hit to the ego, to the heart, to the it is rough. It is so. Oh, it's like getting crushed. But you go out there and you don't do everything that the coach said. It's not like college where you get an A, B, C, D, or a little pat on the back for getting anything from a C up. You get smashed. That's the real world. I think that's kind of what we're missing out on society is we don't have enough reality just to put in our face. We're so soft. Including me, if you compare, if I compare myself to my grandpa, who's just like this hard old guy, just really tough, put his nose to the grindstone and worked his ass off every day. I'm soft too, but I think I'm harder than a lot of people. Anyway, but I don't think he needed motivation. I don't think I need motivation to get moving. I don't think motivation, I think you should just get it out of your vocabulary. It's not. I think it's really just people come in and they say, I'm just not very motivated. I don't care. We're just going to do it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's kind of a cop-out. Just because you don't feel energy or you're tired or that doesn't. Okay, so one of the examples we had was would you walk out of your house without clothes on? And that's an extreme example, but that's a consistent habit that you built over and over again that now you just do it without thinking.
Yeah.
it doesn't take any effort at all for you to say, oh yeah, I need to put underwear and socks and shoes on before I walk out of the door.
Yep.
You might not want to do it. Like when we were kids, we wanted to run around naked all the time.
That
and
is accurate.
Our parents made sure we were clothed before we walked out the door.
Your parents did.
Well, I mean, in public, they wouldn't bring you to the mall, butt ass naked.
Right.
But they built that consistency. That's like a basic need. You need to be clothed to be out in public.
There's certain things in
but
society
it created
that
a
punish more than
routine
others.
that is very basic in your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, brushing your teeth in the morning. I don't know, eating breakfast when you wake up. It's all stuff that's built up into, it's just a common daily routine that you've gotten very good at doing without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
You don't need to be motivated to wanna. I guess you're pretty motivated to brush your teeth because you're gonna stink if you don't. But you don't need to be motivated to put the clothes on. It happens. You do it.
It's funny to hear you say those because like I'm very like I have to create tons and tons and tons of structure in my life to be able to pull off everything that I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to produce as much as I do. But like for you, like you're much more free spirit. So it's funny to hear you say this kind of stuff that I have to say to myself all the time. But you're saying it.
And I see
really
the value
surprises
of
me.
it. And I think I don't know. I was a little far down the game before I did a lot of these like consistent routine kind of things.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like very good at them yet. But I do, when I do get one down, I do see a drastic change.
What do you see?
I see how doing certain things certain ways every single time creates less chaos down the road.
So you're able to, you have more energy to do the things that you want and
well, I'm not focusing on what's at, like if something, say your desk is the same every single day.
Okay.
And you come in one day and it's completely backwards opposite.
Yeah.
It creates a feeling inside that is like, I need to fix this. But if I come into my desk and it's just scattered every day, it kind of creates that need to have some sort of order. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I look at it like efficiency. Like, so that's interesting. Like you're going more by like how your heart feels.
Wait, before I forget this.
Yeah.
So it's like visual. I don't know if you ever watch Bar Rescue. He talks about like how your bar is set up.
Okay.
You are so much more efficient if everything is in the exact same place every single time.
Every time.
Because you can grab things without even thinking.
Right.
And it becomes.
That's what
you
I
can
was.
Close your eyes and make drinks.
Love it.
Okay. So in that respect, that is your mind working at its highest potential.
Yeah.
In the most efficient way possible.
Yeah.
You've created the routine that all of these ingredients are in a certain spot, so you don't even have to look and try to find where things are. You just know how to do it. You can make 10 times as many drinks in a minute. You just do it. If
with
not,
a smile on your face, and interacting with people, and taking an order, and doing all these other things. Yeah,
See,
it's the same thing in here.
Best bartender in the world. I mean, bartenders know this. You can be the best bartender in the world, but if you walk into a brand new area and things are, you need to look at everything and make sure you know where they are before you start the job. You could be the best at anything until you know where everything is and how everything works. You can't be efficient at it.
Yeah.
You can't be the best.
Right.
In the room, at least.
Yeah, that's like really. My heart is full. No.
They poke my heart.
Yeah. No, I think so too. Like if you can do things in your, like once you get to the point where you can do certain things in your sleep, and then like at one point that was really hard to learn. At one point you sucked at that, and then you just kept on sucking less and less and less until at one point you were really good. So you just, like I think that's a really good example. Like if you're a bartender, like you just grab stuff and go, and you're pouring things all the time. Like if you really watch people who know what they're doing behind a bar, it's pretty cool. Like at one point in my life I was spending a lot of time at a bar. It's not anymore, but it's the same thing in here. like I know what's going to happen, like kind of before it happens, so I end up anticipating.
Your anticipation is a really cool thing too. Anticipating like what before accidents happen or before I don't know. Anticipating people's needs is also kind of interesting.
Yeah, but anybody who's become a master of anything, like they segment things. At some point, they don't have to think. Like if you move the stuff around on a drummer and you move their set around and you ask them to drum the exact same way, they wouldn't be able to do it.
No.
They wouldn't even be able to get close. They'd be like trying to figure out where their drum set is, and them have almost become one where they know where everything is.
You've ruined their consistency. There's no motivation anymore.
Right.
If that makes sense. It's like backwards.
Like I definitely think that like routine can be like a negative. Like you can get so structured that you can't actually bend your way out of it. So I heard this guy talk one time on. He got in an argument with somebody that he was doing a project with because this person was just like, oh, a butterfly, oh this, and he said if we were going from, I think they were in like Canada, so like if we were going from Canada to Texas, we would never get there because you'd be flying to LA and to Maine, and the other guy goes, well, if we were flying to Texas and there was this huge nasty thunderstorm that was going to make us crash, you would try to fly right through it. So they were both on two ends of the spectrum, and they needed to kind of manage where they were. So like I definitely think too much structure can be too much structure, and too little can be a problem too. But if you can get that down, if you can get like these things that at one point were like these huge mountain obstacles, and you can shrink them down by getting better at them, eventually it's just like, okay, this is what I do. I just go to the gym and I work out. Okay, this is how I eat. Okay, this is how I do this. This is how I see this with parents where they're just not clear with their kids, and they're like, my kids don't listen to anything. It's like, no, you did not set the structure clear. Like kids love structure. When I work with kids, they know exactly what to expect exactly every time. I set the structure and the parameters and the borders, and I confront them on it whenever they want to push it. Kids love structure. Parents refuse to give it to them.
Also, you can, to create like the best routine for you, it's not going to be the same for everybody else. So like saying I wake up and I have my coffee and then I do my workout, and that doesn't work for everyone else. So you can also kind of figure out what works for you. So be a mad scientist about it. Like figure out, like if something in your routine is kind of ruining, like say you're 15 minutes late for work every day. Well, then there's something in your routine that's not working out.
Yeah.
Whether you're getting all your stuff done or not, that routine is not good for you. You're 15 minutes late every day. Nobody wants to be 15 minutes late every day. So maybe cutting something out of that routine or shrinking part of it down would greatly, drastically improve your mood throughout the day because you're not rushing to work at the last 10, 15 minutes. I was thinking about this the other day because I'm like, I wish I really would have had time to do the dishes yesterday. If I would have started breakfast 5 minutes earlier, I could have got the dishes done. You know what I mean? It's just 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes, starting 5 minutes earlier could have changed my entire mood for the rest of the morning. I mean, it didn't affect my, I was just saying, like, on the drive there, I was, like, kind of rushing. And I'm like, I shouldn't have been rushing. I should have just started my breakfast.
There is something to that, though, like, to, like, being a mad scientist, figure out what works for you, but also, like, there's a difference between it not working for you and you not working for it. So I think, like, I think you definitely have to sit back and assess the situation. And I think more often than not, most people are not working for it.
Yeah.
I think there's certain things that are going to work for everybody, and too many people are too willing to be like, that doesn't work for me. Like waking up early. I'm not a morning person. Who says? That's the most ridiculous statement. Like nobody likes, like I don't like waking up when I wake up either. I'd rather sleep for another hour. Like
well,
I do.
That's part of the commitment
so dumb.
too.
Yeah.
Like if you're not committed to the plan, then I mean, find something that. Like, find what resonates with you. Find what, like, you know, I don't like to say, like, what you're passionate about. But if spending an extra 5 minutes with your kids is what is going to push you to do that, then you're going to have to take those 5 minutes and find them somewhere. If you want to get your workout done every morning, then you're going to have to find the time to do it. You can't just, like, make it find the time for you. You can't just slide it into your day because usually that's not how it's going to work.
Yeah, the 25th hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't want a 25th hour even if
anything, you're going to find a time not to do it.
Yes.
You're going to find other things along the way throughout your day to fill in that gap of that 1 hour that you could have spent getting better for your family and getting all your, you're checking off your workout for the day.
I still think
it's so satisfying to check off your workout for the day.
There's actually a ton of research to to-do lists, like the dopamine response we get to actually checking off. Almost everybody, this is like fairly universal around people, is that almost everybody, when they complete a task that wasn't on their, like let's say they have a to-do list or they go to the grocery store or whatever it is, and they get to check something off and they grab something they know they needed but it wasn't on their list, they will write it in on their to-do list.
I do that all the time.
And then check it off just for the satisfaction
even
of
if it's
checking
like
it
the
off.
littlest, tiniest thing, like clip your fingernails today. Oh, check.
That's funny. I don't do that. I've done it before. I know that I do it.
I don't want to be super anal about it, but there is like it's kind of like a high you get.
Yeah, you get a dopamine.
I do see that.
There's certain like really when it comes down to it, we all like our neurotransmitters are the reasons that we do everything. So like if you can set up yourself up for success to have those neurotransmitters go off, then it's probably more like why do you like the chiropractor? Like chiropractic is 100% based on a dopamine response from popping and making you feel good.
It's so satisfying.
Yeah, it is, and that's it. There's literally no other evidence showing that chiropractic works other than the dopamine response. But
okay, what if you have like an injury though?
Same thing.
Like, I don't know. What if you're out of whack?
You're not out of whack. You're like
right.
They're not putting you back into alignment. That's just a ridiculous idea. Yeah, like the only reason you go to a chiropractor is to get that dopamine response. It feels really good.
Fun.
Yeah, but I mean the dopamine response does placebo effect. They do work. But that's what you're paid for. But I think you got to assess the scenario. You know what works for you, or you is it you not working for it, or is it not working for you? I think more often than not, it's you not working for it. Waking up in the morning works for everybody because if you don't wake up in the morning, you're dead. Coaching works for everybody. Everybody. The worst coach in the world is better than no coach at all. Having teammates works for everybody. Going to bed earlier at night works for everybody. Putting new information in your brain, learning
and growing, exploring and being curious, and
even a new bad idea is still better than zero ideas. Like there's certain things that just work across the board. But anyway,
I think
are we there?
Over.
Are we over?
Yeah.
What else you got? So motivation. We started out with motivation. I just think motivation is just a garbage idea. I just don't think I just think just pull it out of your vocabulary, throw it in the trash.
I guess some things that I have that might help you, but like not motivate you. Say.
Okay.
Having people that hold you accountable that are like maybe a workout partner or a coach
That's
or
a teammate,
somebody that is going to be there when you're not fully 100% there.
Well, and I think that you need to take that a step further and say you don't want a partner. You want a partner in crime that cares enough to get you to confront you.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want the partner in crime that's like, should we go work out today? No, we should definitely go get cupcakes. Like you don't want that. Like you want the partner in crime that's like, don't even think about it.
And you don't want somebody that's just going to drag you along because you're kind of being an asshole with that. Say they are the one that's calling you every single weekend and saying like, get out of bed and blah blah blah. But you kind of have to have somebody that you work with well, and
I don't know.
You have to be.
Like if that's the case, then that person calling and saying, "Hey, let's go," is not being the asshole.
That's what I'm saying.
The person that is being the ball and chain is being the asshole.
I know, that's what I said.
Yeah. Even though society likes to, people like to spin that around, be like, no, you're asking me to go to the gym and I want to go to the gym. No, you're being an asshole because you asked me to ask you to tell you let's go to the gym, and now you're not holding up on your end of the deal.
Yeah, and that's kind of motivating in a way. Like, well, I don't want to be that person. Like, I can't let this person down. Like, I don't want to be the asshole.
I don't know.
So, and also, surrounding yourself with people that are at a higher level than you helps a lot as well.
Surrounding yourself with people that are willing to be that are willing to do things that that normal people aren't willing to do. Yeah.
Like hanging out with somebody that's above your abilities, whether it's working out or I don't know what else.
Health, wealth, relationships,
Health,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, you hang out with couples that just want to sit and bitch at each other the entire time, and I bet you, you're going to get better at. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to get more justified in being an asshole to her. She's going to be more justified in being a bitch to me. Yeah, it's going to be like, no, that's what's acceptable. It's like that's not acceptable.
Okay, that's it. Just kidding.
No, that is the we do need to hop off of here. But please comment, like, and share. And if you guys can do me a favor and jump into the event section and share the nutrition course event. We just have a few spots left. I think it's going to be really good.
I'll be there.
I'm very I gotta go home and practice this speech a few more times. So
You'll do fine.
I'm sure. It will go as well as
it
it can.
It's open to the public and
it's open to the public. It's free. There will be food. Bring your friends, bring your family.
What time?
It's at 7 p.m. We won't start the presentation at 7 p.m., but be here at 7 p.m. At Grit Gym. Yes, at Grit Gym.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll hopefully see you tonight. Anyway, please share this out. Slap the share button and send it out to everybody you know. Appreciate you being here. Thanks, guys. See you soon.